Hi friends, welcome back to the Jackie Bean podcast. This is episode number 2 and today we're going to be talking about what's been on and off my needles. I have about 5 projects I think to share with you guys, and then I'm going to answer some of your questions about duplicate stitch knitting. And if you stick around until the end, I'll have a few clips of my life this past month. I feel like it's been such a busy month with preparing for Rhinebeck and then of course Rhinebeck weekend. And if you're new here, welcome. My name is Noemi and I am the knitwear designer behind Jackie Bean, and I share all things knitting, design, and the creative process here. I also have an online yarn shop. I retail Malabrigo yarn, which is all this yarn that you can see behind me. I will link that below. And there has been some exciting things happening with Malabrigo as well, as they just celebrated their 20th anniversary and they released a whole new yarn base called Vientos, which is all that you can see on this side and on this side. I feel like I'm covering up most of it. But Vientos is a beautiful, super soft, 100% superwash merino yarn, and it's a 2-ply yarn. Indicating the 2 decades, super soft and squishy and beautiful colors. So I'll link that below as well. All right, so the first thing I wanted to talk to you guys about, since past weekend was Rhinebeck weekend, my sweater that I did for Rhinebeck. So if you have watched my Rhinebeck vlog, you might remember that Lion Brand Yarn sponsored me to go to Rhinebeck. So I knitted up this sweater using their yarn. I have a little bit of leftover here. It's a 100% baby alpaca yarn. It's super soft. I love this yarn, and this sweater is probably my favorite one I've ever done because I feel like it's such a lightweight, drapey, fun style and fun sweater. And it's perfect for the Charleston weather because it's a little chilly outside, but not so much that you want to have on a big winter coat. And I feel like alpaca is just one of those fibers that traps in that warmth and while it's still lightweight. And I absolutely love the feel of this sweater. I feel like I've worn it so much since Rhinebeck. I'm going to knit up a second version with different colors of Lion Brand. Actually, that's going to be my third version because the second one is in the making right now, and it's right here, and I am doing this one with Malabrigo Rios just because I couldn't wait for my Lion Brand 100% baby alpaca to get here. So I cast on with Malabrigo Rios, and the only thing I have to do differently is this bottom section of the color work because I was in such rush knitting this one up for Rhinebeck. I think I did this whole sweater in 4 or 5 days. The math just doesn't seem to add up on larger sizes. I'm trying to grade the pattern, so I kind of scratched that whole bottom part and I'm redesigning that. And you'll see later this is not blocked, but this is the top part. And then here this bottom part is going to be slightly different. But I think it's still going to look good. I actually like my second version a little bit better, I think. So I'm excited to share that with you guys. I'm using 4 colors, ivory, old rose, pearl tan, and this one, which is Capricorn. So I'm doing these 4 colors, and after this one is done and the math all adds up for all sizes, I can write up the pattern. I'm looking forward to knitting it up again with Lion Brand's 100% baby alpaca. All right, the second thing I wanted to show you guys is the Backyard Birds collection, which is finally finished. I think last time I showed it to you, I had one more beanie that I was working on, but this is completely done and it was such a fun collection to design. I used Malabrigo Rios, which is a worsted. I would say it's a light worsted weight yarn. And this collection is 5 beanies of some of our favorite birds. We love birding. My husband is very into birding, so are my kids. So this one is the bluebird, and I took off the pom-poms from all the heads just because it's easier for me to store them. I try to hang on to all my designs. I just vacuum seal them and put them in container boxes, and that is how I store them without the pom-poms. So just keep that in mind. Pom-poms are off. So that's the bluebird, the Baltimore Oriole, hummingbird, a cardinal, which is probably my favorite, and then a chickadee. So these patterns are now available on my website, Ravelry and Etsy, and you can buy them individually or as a bundle. And speaking of duplicate stitch knitting, the next thing I wanted to show you guys and talk about a little bit is my newest duplicate stitch collection. If you have been around my channel a little bit, you probably know that I always have at least one duplicate stitch project going on simultaneously while I'm knitting sweaters and other things, because I just absolutely love duplicate stitch knitting. So the new collection that I am working on is called the Nordic Nights Collection, and this was the very first beanie that I have designed for this collection. This little Arctic fox and the Northern Lights, some trees in the background. And then I think the second one I did was the owl, the snowy owl. Again, these don't have the pom-poms on yet. I'll put them on for photos and a video, and then I'll take them back off for storing them. And then the third beanie I did is this little mountain scene with the cabin. There is some smoke coming out of the cabin, out of the chimney. And again, Northern Lights. I have never seen the Northern Lights, but I'm really hoping that one day I get to see them. And then the fourth beanie is this skiing person in the mountains with sunset. And the last one, so it's going to be a collection of 5 beanies again. The last one is going to be a polar bear mama and its baby. I'm super excited for that one. I just finished knitting the base of the beanie, and I'm probably going to start doing the duplicate stitch on it later this afternoon. And some of you have asked if I block my beanie before or afterwards and how I block it. I like to steam block it. This one looks a little rough. It was at the bottom of my purse and it's not looking great right now. So I think I'm going to steam block this one before I do the duplicate stitch on it. But usually I just knit it up, go right away for the duplicate stitch, and then block it at the end. So this collection is coming out this Saturday, November 1st, right after Halloween. So if you're interested, I'll link these below as well. I feel like all I am showing you guys right now is hats when I've been knitting so many sweaters and other things too, but I guess you will see that maybe in the next podcast. So one fun collection that just got released maybe 3 weeks ago or so is the Classic Cables collection, which this collection has a cowl, a headband, and a hat. And I don't usually do a lot of cables, but I feel like I've been craving cables lately. So I wanted this collection to look classy, but at the same time have a modern twist on cables. That is why I chose to do these columns, and I placed the cables on one side of the column. And I did this collection with Malabrigo Rios. This one is color Ivory, and it's a worsted weight collection. It's available on Ravelry, my website, and on Etsy. And if you go on Ravelry, you should check out all my testers' beautiful work. They chose such fun colors. I just absolutely love seeing other people's projects. And within this collection, I did this beanie. I used Lion Brand's, oops, backwards. Let me check what. It's local grown, 100% USA wool. This one is color Lilac, and this one is also a worsted weight yarn. However, I would say Malabrigo Rios is more like a light worsted, and this one is a heavier worsted. So I actually slightly modified the pattern for this one. And if you're looking to knit this one up, you can find this one on Lion Brand's marketplace. And then I also couldn't help myself just because I got such in a cabley, is that even a word? Just because I got in such a cable mood, I did this one. I didn't even weave in the ends or block this one. And for this one, I used Virgo for the body of the beanie, and I used Valentina for the brim. And of course, it had to have a cowl. So I have lots of classic cables. So again, you can find this collection on Etsy, Ravelry, and my website, and the Lion Brand one on Lion Brand's marketplace. And the last thing I wanted to show you today was these two little beanies, which this one is a child size and this one is an adult size. I'm still deciding on the name. I haven't finished writing up this pattern yet, but someone suggested Good Vibes beanie on Instagram, so I might go with that. I did this beanie in Carline, which if you are a parent, and in the US, at least I know how it works here, is that we have Carline. And for my daughter's school, we have to get in Carline a good 30 to 45 minutes before school ends, just so you are not at the very end of, 600 cars. So I always try to get there early and just knit while I'm waiting. And this is what I have been doing. It's been just staying in my car. So I was thinking about calling it the Carline beanie. And you can almost see how like the line is just swirling. It's kind of ironic. But I don't know if a lot of people would relate to that. So I think it might just be the Good Vibes beanie. But if you have any suggestions, please leave them in the comments below for me. I would love to get some more ideas for this beanie. So for this one, I used a 100% superwash merino, and I actually saved the label. This is Lion Brand's 100% superwash merino, and it's 100 grams and 306 yards. So this yarn is a DK weight yarn, and I think it's their online exclusive. I feel like when it comes to Lion Brand, a lot of people think about, the chunky, thick and quick that you can get at Walmart or Michael's. And I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like a lot of people don't know about their natural fibers. And that is why I wanted to try out some of their alpaca yarn, their superwash merino, and their 100% wool. And I've been having fun with them so far. I love the different colors that I can choose. For the record, Lion Brand did not sponsor this video. I'm just giving you my opinion and telling you about my designs and what I use. So again, possibly Good Vibes beanie, maybe Carline, or if you have better ideas, please leave them in the comments below. Okay, next, let's talk about some of your questions, because I get so many questions on Instagram, especially about duplicate stitch knitting. So I wanted to address some of those. One question that I get all the time is if I knit the base of the beanie or if I purchase it and I just decorate it. So the answer is yes, I do knit every single beanie that you see on my Instagram page. I just knit up a base beanie, and when you purchase any of my duplicate stitch patterns, it's a two-step pattern. So first we are going to knit the beanie, and then second we are going to decorate it with the duplicate stitch design. So this is what the beanie looks like, and I always use the exact same yarn for the base of the beanie that I'm going to use for decorating it. And that is another question that I get asked so often. If I use a thicker yarn for the motif that I'm doing on it, just to make sure that it covers the stitches fully. I think the reason why some of you might think that maybe I'm using a thicker yarn is because your tension might not be right. So when you're doing duplicate stitch, you have to make sure that your tension matches the stitch underneath. I think where a lot of people go wrong with duplicate stitch knitting is that their stitches, their duplicate stitches are too tight. I think as you're stitching it and go around and come back down, pull your needle out, I think you probably just pulled that yarn a little too tight. And because of that, it is going to look like the stitch underneath still shows. So if you're struggling with tension, I would say it's better to have your stitches, your duplicate stitches, looser than the stitch underneath rather than too tight. And that way it will help to cover it more, but it really just takes some practice. And you can also check out some of my YouTube shorts. I believe I have some short videos about tension and showing what it looks like with too tight of a tension and when your tension is just right. And then the last question I could remember today was about blocking, which I kind of answered already. I like to steam block my beanies. If you are going to be wet blocking it, I love to throw in, especially when you're using lots of different bright colors, I love to throw in a color catcher. It's just a little sheet that you throw in with your beanie in the water in case if any of the dyes would leak. I like to wet block my colorful garments and items with cold water, just because when you're blocking it with warm water, the fibers can open up a little bit and let some dye out. So I feel like it's safer to block it with cold water, throw in that color catcher, and I think you will be just fine. But also steam blocking is a great, easy, and quick option. So there's that. Thank you guys so much for all those questions. And if you have any more, please just leave them in the comments below. I'll try my best to answer all of them. And if you want to stick around for a few more minutes, I'm going to show a few clips from this past month, what's been happening around here. And thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. See you in the next one. In October, I got to attend 3 fiber festivals. I visited Cakepalooza in the Untangled and Rhinebeck in upstate New York, And I have a very detailed long video of that weekend if you are interested. I will link that below, but for now, here are a few clips from my travels in October.